I need to score a 9 out of 9 on the IELTS reading and listening sections, but I have no idea how to do it. One of the main reasons why students can't get high scores on these sections of the test is because their vocabulary is limited. So one thing to do is to study subject-specific vocabulary for subjects like biology, psychology, physics, astronomy, and more. This will definitely help you understand the text better. But is that all? Not really. After studying tons of IELTS practice tests, I've noticed that there are certain words that appear in almost every text or listening passage, and they don't belong to any specific subject. These are words that you can often find in academic articles and texts. And these are the words you'll usually need to answer questions on the IELTS reading and listening. So for this video, I've collected 54 of the most common words you'll see in the IELTS reading and listening sections that will help you achieve the score you want. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get more tips and tricks about the test, and click the bell icon to be notified when the next video comes out. Let's see how ready you are for the IELTS test. Take a piece of paper and make 2 columns. In one column, put a plus for the words you know. In the second column, put a minus and write out the word itself to mark the words you don't know. At the end of the video, write winner in the comments if you know all the words, or tell us how many words from the list you know. For example, 30 out of 54, or 52 out of 54. Let's get started. The first word on our list is proponent. This is a person who argues for a cause or proposes an idea. Simply put, a proponent is someone who is in favor of something. We all know the word opponent, a person who opposes an idea. And the word proponent means the opposite. In the reading section, you'll often see passages about the proponents of an idea, policy, or plan. 2. Solely. That's another word for only. You can rely solely on yourself or focus solely on some project. Again, I see this word all the time in both the reading and listening sections. Another popular word on the IELTS test is decade. A decade is a period of 10 years. Number 4, abundant. When something is abundant, it's present in large quantities. For example, let's say a text is about a region with abundant natural resources. It means that there are a lot of natural resources in those regions. You can also find mentions of abundant vegetation or abundant minerals. So when you see the word abundant, remember that it means a lot. We actually have an entire course dedicated to IELTS preparation, where we teach you all the words you need to know to score consistently high on each section of the test. We have lists of words organized by topic that you can study every day on Quizlet, templates for effective speaking and writing responses, strategies for each question type, and more. I'll leave the link to the scores below. 5. Roughly. Approximately. About. Roughly 2,000. About 2,000. The next word is conquer. To conquer is to defeat someone or something, usually by force. You can conquer physical challenges, fears and phobias, illnesses and health issues, knowledge and skills, difficulties and challenges, or social and environmental issues. For example, on IELTS you might see collocations such as to conquer space, poverty, environmental degradation, a new language, public speaking, fear of heights, personal dreams, and more. 7. Vulnerable. A vulnerable person is someone who is easily hurt. However, on IELTS, you'll often see this word used to mean something or someone that is easily influenced or attacked. For example, older people are particularly vulnerable to cold, which means they're influenced or susceptible to cold. Susceptible is another good word with a similar meaning. Customer accounts may be vulnerable to hacking or security risks. Another really popular word is taxonomy. It's mainly used in biology to talk about classifying living organisms, organizing them according to their similarities. For example, the taxonomy of species. You can also see it in other fields where it's used to describe a system for naming and organizing things into groups that share similar qualities. For example, the taxonomy of critical factors, mechanisms, texts, price discrimination, or different forms of aggression. It's often used in question types that involve paraphrasing. So, if the question is about organizing and classifying, watch out for the word taxonomy. 9. Debris. Debris is trash that is scattered around after a disaster, like shattered glass on the road after a car accident. This is debris. 10. Sustainability. This word is repeated hundreds and hundreds of times in both IELTS reading texts and listening transcripts. Sustain means to last over time. So sustainability is the ability of something to last. As a civilization, we are concerned about the sustainability of our planet. You will see passages that mention environmental or ecological sustainability, energy sustainability, financial sustainability, and even space sustainability. So let's say you see the text about space sustainability. You immediately know that similar to sustainability initiatives on Earth, space sustainability is about using the space environment to meet our current needs without compromising the needs of future generations. 11. Amateur. An amateur is a person who does something for pleasure, not for money, such as an amateur who paints as a hobby, but earns a living in another way. Another example is an amateur athlete who might run in local marathons without sponsorship, or an amateur musician who plays in a community band just for fun. 12. Foster. To foster is to encourage the development or growth of something. This could be relationships, skills, or even ideas. Typical IELTS collocations include foster innovation, unity, collaboration, the development of something, the growth of something, or creativity. For example, a teacher might foster creativity in students by encouraging them to think outside the box. Likewise. Likewise means similarly. 14. Deploy. The primary meaning of deploy is to move troops or equipment into position for military action, as in a military commander might deploy troops in preparation for battle. But on IELTS, we often see this word used in the sense of bringing something into effective action. A similar meaning to use, utilize, employ, or exploit. For instance, a company might deploy new technology to improve efficiency. Common collocations include deploy resources, deploy technology, and deploy strategies. 15. Tackle. The verb to tackle means to make a determined effort to deal with a problem or a difficult task. You can tackle a problem, tackle an issue, or tackle a challenge. It's also a great word for the IELTS writing section. 16. Redundant. No longer needed or useful. This word can describe unnecessary information or situations where jobs are cut because they're no longer needed. Common collocations are redundant employees, redundant information, or make redundant. 17. Apparently. Apparently is an adverb meaning evidently or obviously. After his 6th hot dog, you might say to your friend, well, apparently someone was hungry. When reading, you'll often see collocations like apparently true, apparently not, or apparently obvious. 18. Contaminate. To make poisonous, to pollute. For instance, chemicals can contaminate water supplies, or bacteria can contaminate food. You will often see the word contamination, which is often used as a synonym for pollution. The next two phrases that IELTS content creators love are steer away from and steer clear of. They can be considered synonyms, and both of them mean to avoid something or someone. her speech steered clear of controversial issues. Or, he decided to steer away from trouble. 20. Otherwise. We use otherwise after a command or a suggestion to show what the result will be if you don't follow an idea. You'd better write it down, otherwise you'll forget it. It can also mean differently or in another way. The police believe he's the thief, but all the evidence suggests otherwise, that he is not. 21. Assess. To evaluate. 22. Compile. To gather information from different sources and put it together. For example, a researcher might compile data from various studies, or an editor might compile articles for a publication. You can compile a report or compile a list. 23. Property. Property often means something that you own or have, such as land, buildings, or goods. In the IELTS reading section, it's often used to describe a quality of a substance or material. For example, one of the properties of copper is that it conducts heat and electricity very well. So it's the characteristic or quality of copper to conduct heat and electricity. 24. Generate. To generate means to produce or create something, often used in the context of energy, ideas, or income. 25. Threat. A person or thing likely to cause damage or danger is called a threat. Climate change is a global threat. Likewise, a competitor can be a threat to a company. 26. Target. A target is something to shoot at, either real or figurative. If you're an archer, you aim for the bullseye on the target. If you are selling cars for a living, you probably have a sales target to hit. You can use this word both as a noun and as a verb. For instance, a company might set a sales target, or marketing campaigns can target specific audiences. 27. Vigorous. Strong, healthy, and full of energy. 28. Guidelines. General rules, principles, or pieces of advice. For example, the organization has issued guidelines for people who work with prisoners. 29. A byproduct. A byproduct is something produced in the process of making something else. This term is often used in manufacturing or environmental contexts. You will also need it in the writing task 1 when describing diagrams. For example, sawdust is a byproduct of cutting wood, or heat can be a byproduct of chemical reactions. 30. Promote. To promote means to support or actively encourage something, such as a cause, product, or idea. 31. An outbreak. A sudden occurrence of something undesirable, for example, a disease or a conflict. We often use the word outbreak to describe events that spread quickly and widely. 32. Retention. You can use retention to mean the ability to keep or hold something. On the IELTS, retention often means the continued use, existence, or possession of something or someone. For example, water or heat retention, information retention, memory retention, customer retention. 33. Abide by. To accept and follow a rule, decision, or recommendation. Again, one of the favorite words of the IELTS makers. I see it all the time in the reading passages. You can abide by rules, laws, or a decision. 34. Resilience. The ability to recover quickly from difficulties. A resilient community is the one that can rebuild itself quickly after a disaster. Now, personal resilience helps someone cope with stress. Imagine a tennis ball that you throw at the wall and it bounces back. The same way a resilient person bounces back from difficulties. 35. Decline. To decrease in strength, quality, or importance. Remember 3 words that begin with a D and have a similar meaning: decline, decrease, and diminish. You will also need them for writing task 1. You can witness an economic decline or a decline in sales. 36. Foreseeable. If you know something's coming, it's foreseeable. The adjective foreseeable most often turns up in the phrase the foreseeable future, which basically means as far in the future as I can predict. So the foreseeable future means the near or predictable future. 37. Outline. To outline means to give a summary of the main points or structure of something. You can outline a plan, outline your steps, or outline your proposal. For example, a teacher might outline the key topics for an exam, or a business plan might outline the company's strategy. So to outline means to roughly describe. Remember, we've just discussed the word roughly, approximately. Or give the main points or a summary of something. 38. Stem from. To be caused by something or someone, or to come from something or someone. The sentence, her problems stem from a lack of confidence, suggests that insecurity is the underlying cause. 39. A range of, a variety of, a diversity of, an array of. All these words mean that there is a broad selection of options. 40. Database. Lots of IELTS reading passages use this word. A database collects information and resources, usually on a common subject. Some databases collect newspapers, others focus on legal issues. The police use databases to track criminals. Anywhere there is information being collected, there is probably a database keeping track of it all. 41. Ultimately. In the end. Finally. One more word is enormously. It means greatly or to a very large degree. Think of the word enormous. It means huge. So if you say that the project was enormously successful, it was hugely or very successful. Things can be enormously successful, enormously popular, or enormously important. This word is enormously important for your IELTS test. 43. Designate. This word can mean to officially choose someone to do a job. He was designated as their team captain. Or to officially say that a place or thing has a particular character or purpose. The area was designated as a national park. 44. Incorporate. To incorporate is to include or integrate a part into the whole. Think of 3 words that begin with an I. Incorporate, include, integrate. They are slightly different, of course, but the general meaning is the same. Incorporate is a more active version of the word include. When you incorporate, you add something to the mix. The new policy incorporates employee feedback. 45. Literate. Able to read and write. You can be computer literate or highly literate. We may also encounter the idea of literate population in the reading passages. 46. Correlate. To have a mutual relationship or a connection between 2 or more things. Higher education levels correlate with the better job prospects. 47. The 2 phrases that are also quite popular in British English are years to come, generations to come. They mean the future years or future generations. 48. Congestion. Congestion often refers to overcrowding, usually of traffic or people, causing delays and difficulties. The most common collocation with this word is traffic congestion. Another super popular word, not only on the IELTS test, but also on the TOEFL test, is timber. It's wood used for construction. Collision. A collision happens when one moving object strikes violently against another, often resulting in damage. So, there is a crash. We often use this word to describe traffic accidents, but it can also apply to other contexts. For example, satellite collisions in space. Anything where there is a crash is a collision. 51. Habitat. This word is also super popular in many IELTS texts and listening recordings. A habitat is the natural home or environment of an animal, plant, or other organism. It's a place where a species live and grow. The forest is a habitat for many species. On the IELTS, you'll often see natural habitat, habitat destruction, or wildlife habitat mentioned. 52. Issue. Problem. For example, there seems to be an issue with the production schedule. 53. Cope with. To deal effectively with something difficult, like stress, challenges, or changes. He's trying to cope with being fired so soon after being hired. Finally, the last word in our list is preserve. To preserve means to keep something as it is, especially to prevent it from being damaged or destroyed. You can try to preserve the environment, wood, timber, nature, traditions, or indigenous languages. We did it! Congratulations! These were the 54 words you'll definitely need to tackle the IELTS reading and listening sections. As you've already noticed, many of them can also be used in your writing and speaking responses. Let me know in the comments if you found this lesson helpful and if you'd like to see more vocabulary videos in the near future. Please write below how many words you knew. I also encourage you to do a few reading and listening tests after watching this video, and I'm sure you'll come across many of these words. If you want to master all 4 sections of the IELTS exam and get a great score on test day, click on the link below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips and tricks on how to ace the IELTS test. As always, remember that getting a high score on the IELTS is not an impossible feat. You can do it. Until next time, happy studying, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!